Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda.
Hare Krishna, Vilocham Garam Prabhuji, thank you very much for doing the live streaming. Prabhu, thank you. Please don't thank me. Sorry, Prabhuji. I said, please don't thank me. It's only a service, no problem. Okay, Prabhuji, we'll continue. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, welcome to all dear devotees. Today we are very happy to have the association of His Grace Rama Govinda Ratisa Prabhuji. He'll be sharing Bhagavata from 4th Canto, 24th chapter, verse number 58. The chapter is titled Chanting the Song Sung by Lord Shiva. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, nice to have you again.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much. Am I audible, Prabhu?
Yes, very well. Very well.
Okay, thank you so much, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can start now.
Yeah. Thank you so much to all the devotees for giving me opportunity to glorify the Lord and the associates of the Lord. So we'll begin. Om Agyana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagar Jatam Sahagana Raghunatha Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, welcome everybody. Prabhu, will we be able to project the shloka on the screen?
Yes, Prabhu, I'll do it. Okay.
Yes. So today we are going to discuss about the 4th canto, 24th chapter, 58th verse. So this is in continuation from what all the devotees would have heard last Saturday, because yesterday we had a different topic in discussion, and today we are going to continue from where we discussed on last Saturday. So today's verse goes like this: Athana Ghangres Tava Kirti Tirthayor Antar Bahisnana Vidhuta Papmanam Bhuteshvanukrosha Susatva Shilanam Syat Sangamo Nugraha Esha Nastava. So this particular verse, let's hear once again. Athana Ghangres Tava Kirti Tirthayor Antar Bahisnana Vidhuta Papmanam Bhuteshvanukrosha Susatva Shilanam Syat Sangamo Nugraha Esha Nastava. So let's go to the purport, Prabhu. Can you just scroll down? Sorry, let's go to the meanings, synonyms. Atha. So we'll just go through the meanings of each of these words. Atha, therefore, Anagha Angre, of my Lord, whose lotus feet destroys all inauspiciousness. Tava, your Kirti, glorification. Tirthayo, the holy Ganges water. Anta, within. Bahi, and outside. Snana, taking bath. Vidhuta, washed. Papmanam, contaminated state of mind. Bhuteshu, unto the ordinary living beings. Anukrosha, benediction of mercy. Su Sattva, completely in goodness. Anugraha, Susattva, completely in goodness. Shilanam, of those who possess such characteristics. Syat, let there be. Sangama, association. Anugraha, mercy. Esha, this. Na, unto us. Tava, your. So this particular verse is from the section of Rudra Gita, where Lord Shiva is glorifying Lord Krishna. Now, let's read the translation. My dear Lord, so Lord Shiva is saying this, my dear Lord, your lotus feet are the cause of all auspicious things and the destroyer of all the contamination of sin. I therefore beg your Lordship to bless me by the association of your devotees who are completely purified by worshipping your lotus feet and who are so merciful upon the conditioned souls. I think that your real benediction will be to allow me to associate with such devotees. So let's read the purport. So purport is provided to us by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So the Ganges water, or also known as Ganga, the Ganga water or the Ganges water, is celebrated as being able to eradicate all kinds of sinful reactions. In other words, when a person takes his bath in the Ganges, he becomes freed from all life's contaminations. The Ganges water is celebrated in this way because it emanates from the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, those who are directly in touch with the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and who are absorbed in the chanting of His glories are freed from all material contamination. Such unalloyed devotees are able to show mercy to the common conditioned soul. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur has sung that the devotees of Lord Chaitanya are so powerful that each one of them can deliver a universe. In other words, it is a business of devotees to preach the glories of the Lord and deliver all conditioned souls to the platform of Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness. Here, the word Su Sattva means Shuddha Sattva, the transcendental stage beyond material goodness. By his exemplary prayers, Lord Shiva teaches us that our best course is to take shelter of Lord Vishnu and his Vaishnava devotees. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, we just heard this particular verse, and in this context, we should understand that now, we are in the, like I said earlier, we are in the Rudra Gita section where Lord Shiva is glorifying Lord Krishna. Now, Lord Shiva is glorifying Lord Krishna for what? Because the Prachetas, that is the sons of King Prachina Barhi, they were supposed to enter into the ocean and they wanted to meditate to get married. So before that, they had a meeting, or they were fortunate enough to have darshan of Lord Shiva, and they could take instructions from Lord Shiva on how to make their meditation successful. Now, in this particular conversation, Lord Shiva is actually glorifying Lord Vishnu, and that is what, or Lord Krishna, and that is the glorification which we hear as Rudra Gita. Now, here we can see that in this particular verse, Prabhu, maybe you can project the verse on the screen. So, in this particular verse, we can see that in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that if you see the verse as such, the verse does not say anywhere that there is no mention of Ganga or Ganges in the verse anywhere, but it just gives us a hint or a reference, and this is one of the reasons why we need to have a spiritual master. What each and every word means. So now in this particular verse also we see that it says Athana Ghangres Tava Kirti Tirthayor Antar Bahisnana Vithuta Papmanam Bhuteshvanukrosha Susatva Shilanam Syat Sangamo Nugraha Esha Nastava. So there is no mention of Ganga here. But if you go to the purport, it starts, in fact, Srila Prabhupada starts translating by saying that the Ganges water is celebrated as being able to eradicate all kinds of sinful reactions. So now we'll come to this later. I'll just keep it reserved for now. We'll come as to why and from where this reference has come of the Ganges water. But we should understand that the Ganges water, there is a subtle comparison between the Ganges water and it's just a small comparison between, is the Ganges water more purifying, or is the contact with a devotee of the Lord, or is the association of devotees more purifying? So here we'll get to know more about it. But before that, I just wanted to also give some references from the Shastras. First thing is, what is the importance of Srimad-Bhagavatam? We see that towards the end of the Srimad-Bhagavatam, which is in the 12th canto, there is a verse which says, Sarva Vedanta Saramhi Sri Bhagavatam Ishyate. So this is the 12th canto, the 13th chapter and the 15th verse. It says, Sarva Vedanta Saramhi Sri Bhagavatam Ishyate. Tad rasamritya triptasya nanyatra syad ratik kvachayat. So here Sarva Vedanta, of all the Vedanta philosophy, the essence is Srimad-Bhagavatam. That is what it says. Ishyate. Ishyate means is said to be. Now the essence of all the Vedanta scriptures is Srimad-Bhagavatam. Now, tat rasamritya triptasya nanyatra syad ratik kvachayat. So Srimad-Bhagavatam is the essence of all Vedic literature or Vedanta philosophy, and one who is satisfied from its nectarian mellow will never be attracted to any other literature. So the foundation principle is that we should be, if we don't have to go and read all the Vedic literature, if we just read the Srimad-Bhagavatam, that is enough to satisfy a devotee of the Lord. Now in this Srimad-Bhagavatam, the very next verse, it says that Nimna Ganam Yatha Ganga, that is the 12th canto, 13th chapter, 16th verse. I just spoke the 15th verse. Now I'm telling the 16th verse, the next verse. In the next verse, it says, Nimna Ganam Yatha Ganga, Devanam Achyuto Yatha, Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, Purananam Idam Tatha. So we have heard this. We have all heard Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, especially, when Shivaratri, just now, the Shivaratri Tithi has passed. And when we have to explain to devotees of Lord Shiva we usually take shelter of this verse and we say that, in the Srimad-Bhagavatam, it is written that Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, and, we give the reference and we feel very happy about it. So the point is, yes, Lord Shiva is the greatest of all Vaishnavas. But here in this verse, again, it says, first line says, Nimna Ganam Yatha Ganga. So it says, among the rivers that are flowing in this world, Nimna Ganam Yatha Ganga. Of all the rivers that are flowing to the sea, the topmost is the Ganges. Then Devanam Achyuto Yatha. So out of all the lords, the supreme lord is Lord Achyuta or Lord Krishna. Then Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Out of all the Vaishnavas, the topmost is Lord Shiva. And similarly, out of all the Puranas, the greatest is Srimad-Bhagavatam. Purananam Idam Tatha. Idam Tatha means this. Srimad-Bhagavatam is the greatest of all the Puranas. So in the previous verse of this particular canto, the 12th canto, 13th chapter, 15th verse says that Srimad-Bhagavatam is enough for all the devotees of the Lord. And the 16th verse says that while Srimad-Bhagavatam is the topmost literature that has been accepted by all of us, then we also have to accept that the Ganges or Ganga is the greatest of all the rivers. Lord Achyuta or Lord Krishna is the greatest of all the deities and of all the lords. And Shambhu or Shiva is the greatest of all Vaishnavas, and Srimad-Bhagavatam is the greatest literature. So with that conclusion, what do we can come to a conclusion that in the verse that we are talking about today, which is the 4th canto, 24th chapter and 58th verse, Tava Kirti Tirthayo, the first verse or the first line of the shloka today, it says, Prabhuji, can you just scroll up a little bit? I can show the verse. Yeah, so in this verse, if you see the first line, Athana Ghangres, Tava Kirti Tirthayo. So that's why Srila Prabhupada gives a reference of Tirthayo, means out of all the Tirtha or the holy places, Ganga is considered as the greatest of all the rivers. So now here in this particular verse, one, there is a reference of Ganga being the greatest of all the rivers. Then there is Lord Shiva. He is actually reciting this glorification. So again, who's Shiva? That also we heard. So Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Ganga. Regarding Ganga, we already said Nimna Ganam Yatha Ganga. So that is also there in that same verse, which is the 12th canto. And among, Devanam Achyuto Yatha, which means that Krishna is the supreme among all devatas or demigods or gods or everything, supreme personality of Godhead. And among the scriptures, it is Srimad-Bhagavatam. So we just need one verse to conclude that Ganga is the holy river, Shiva is the supreme among Vaishnavas, and Srimad-Bhagavatam is the topmost literature, and Lord Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So these 4 things are clear to us. Now, let's go back to the verse. Now, first thing is, we should understand that association in this particular verse, Srila Prabhupada stresses on the association of devotees. So we should understand that the Srimad-Bhagavatam itself has come to us. Now, we said Srimad-Bhagavatam is the essence of all Vedic scriptures. But what is Srimad-Bhagavatam? Srimad-Bhagavatam itself is a compilation of all conversations between the supreme or the top devotees of the Lord. Now, which starts from the sages of Naimisharanya trying to get information from Suta Goswami. Now, the sages of Naimisharanya are also very well qualified, but they know that Suta Goswami, who's the topmost among them, is more learned and has more confidential information which they can extract. And the devotees of the Lord, they relish to hear these pastimes of the Lord. And who better than Suta Goswami? So they approach Suta Goswami and they request Suta Goswami. In the first canto itself, we see that in the 15th verse, they are glorifying Suta Goswami so much that by that glorification, they are expecting their desire to be fulfilled. And what is that desire? The devotee's desire is to hear more about Krishna, is to hear more about the glorification of Krishna. And that gives intense satisfaction to the devotees of Krishna. So I'll come further, why the devotees of Krishna are so eager or so curious to glorify the Lord. There is also, one of the songs by our Vaishnava Acharyas. We'll go to that. But before that, let's hear this particular verse, which is the first canto, first chapter, 15th verse, where it says, Yat pada samshraya suta Munaya Prasamayana Sadhya Punantyupasprushta Swardhunyapo Nusevaya. So it says, Yat, whose? Pada, lotus feet. Samshraya, those who have taken shelter of Suta, O Suta Goswami, Munaya, the great sages, Prashamayana, absorbed in the devotion of the Supreme, Sadhya, at once, Punanti, sanctify, Upas Prashtha, simply by association, Swardhuni, of the sacred Ganges, Apa, water, Anusevaya, bringing into use. Now, why did I recite this particular verse? We are now actually in the fourth canto. Today's verse is fourth canto, 24th, 58. But why am I saying about first canto, first chapter, 15th verse? Is because in today's verse, there is no reference of Ganga. But I'm trying to connect from where and all Srila Prabhupada has picked up this and has given this to us. So we understand this particular verse more in detail. Okay. So now I already gave you a reference from the 12th canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam, and I already summarized that. Among literature, Srimad-Bhagavatam is greatest. Among the lords, or among the devatas, or among all the creation, the Supreme Personality is Lord Krishna. Among the devotees, it is Shambhu or Lord Shiva. And among the rivers, it is Ganga. So that is one reference to today's verse. The second reference is about the association of the devotees of the Lord. So here in this particular verse, which is the first canto, first chapter, 15th verse, Yat Pada Samshraya Sutta Munaya Prashamanaya Sadhya Punantyupas Prishta Swardhunyapo Nusevaya. So in this particular verse, Srila Prabhupada writes that in the translation, he says that pure devotees of the Lord, basically this is a glorification by the sages of Naimisharanya. They are glorifying Sutta Goswami. Okay, and Sutta Goswami, they are saying that, oh Sutta, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them. So here the sages are saying to Sutta Goswami that those people or those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the Lord, the reference is for Sutta Goswami. They are referring to Sutta Goswami, telling that you have taken complete shelter of the Supreme, shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, and you can at once satisfy those who come in touch with you. Whereas the water of the Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use. So now there is a comparison made. So what the sages of Naimisharanya are telling Sutta Goswami is, if we come in contact with the devotee of the Lord can instantly purify us. But if we come in contact with the water of the Ganges, it takes prolonged use for purifying the same person. Now, there is when we are saying that among the rivers, Ganga is the supreme and the Ganga is the most purifying, then why is this reference given where it says that the devotee of the Lord is more purifying than Ganga? So now, in the 12th canto, we heard about the verse which I already said earlier. There is glorification of everybody. There is glorification of Lord Shiva, there is glorification of Lord Krishna, there is glorification of Ganga, there is glorification of Srimad-Bhagavatam, but there is no mention of devotee. Here we see in this particular verse that even higher than Ganga, or purification which can happen by one taking or making use of Ganga or the water from Ganga, is much more than that, or much more purifying than that, is the association of a pure devotee of the Lord. So now Sutta Goswami is glorified this way by the sages of Naimisharanya. Now here in this purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, I'm talking about the first canto, first chapter, 15th verse. Okay, in this verse, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, pure devotees of the Lord are more powerful than the water of the sacred river Ganges. So he's saying that pure devotees are more powerful. One can derive spiritual benefit out of prolonged use of Ganga water. Now there will be a doubt in all of our mind that how is Ganga water purifying? And yes, we already know that Ganga's water is purifying because it directly flows. In today's verse, it is said that it directly flows from the Ganga's water flows directly from the Lord's lotus feet. Now that is why, because it is flowing from the Lord's lotus feet, and the Lord is all pure. So anybody who comes in contact with the water of Ganga becomes pure automatically. But the tendency is people come from all over the world and they take a dip in Ganga, and they wash away their sins and go. But they wash away their sins, that is okay. But do they go back and stop committing sins? That we don't know. That is why the water of Ganga, it takes prolonged use for us to get purified by the water of Ganga. Whereas the sight of the pure devotee of the Lord. So we can just assume, see, all of us came in contact with ISKCON or Srila Prabhupada, or to any of our gurus. Maybe some of us come in contact to our particular guru from whom we have taken diksha, or some shiksha guru, or somebody who has given us a guidance of how to get connected with ISKCON. Some of us came through lectures, some of us came through prasadam. So all of us were actually stuck in different modes of material nature. Somebody is in ignorance, somebody is in passion, somebody is in goodness, somebody is born in good families, and they may already be in the mode of goodness, and for them it may be much easier. But we have seen that Srila Prabhupada was able to uplift everyone, not just the person who is in mode of goodness, or not just the person who is in mode of passion, but even the people who are in the mode of ignorance. So that is the power of the pure devotee of the Lord. Now, the same verse, it says that one can derive spiritual benefit out of prolonged use of the Ganges water, but one can be sanctified at once by the mercy of a pure devotee of the Lord. So in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that any person who comes in contact with a pure devotee of the Lord, he can be of any birth. He could be a Shudra, he could be a Vaishya, he could be anyone. But once he comes in contact with the pure devotee of the Lord and he takes shelter of the lotus feet, he automatically takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, and by doing so, he gets back to Goloka Vrindavan or to Godhead. Now, to take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord means, Srila Prabhupada is writing in this purport that to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord means to take shelter of the pure devotees. So in this world, you cannot take direct shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. If you have to understand, if many of us, we have been, we all come from good cultural backgrounds, especially those in India. We already know that, we have to worship God. We have to follow certain rules and regulations, especially the 4 regulative principles. Most of us, I'm not talking about the last 15-20 years, there was a lot of degradation. But yes, before that, before the last 15-20 years, we would have seen that most of us, when the revolution in TV or the revolution in internet has not happened, most of us were actually influenced by good lifestyles of our ancestors, of our parents, and many such good practices which they have given us. But now we see that this is a different aspect altogether. All of a sudden, there is a burst of the internet age, and we are getting a lot of information. We have a lot of access to information, and that information, if we are not selective, if we don't have good cultural practices, and if we don't have good association of devotees, and if we don't have a goal set in our life, there is a possibility that we get carried away by all that information which is not necessary for us. So in this age of Kali, it is not possible to have direct association of the Lord. You have to take the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord by taking the shelter of the devotees or the pure devotees of the Lord. That is what Srila Prabhupada says. That is why all the pure devotees of the Lord, they have been given this extraordinary title like Prabhupada, Vishnupad. So these titles have been given because they are holding that particular position where they are holding on to the supreme feet of the Lord, Supreme Lord's lotus feet. They are always engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. So that is why they are called Prabhupada, or they are called as Vishnupad. Now this indicates, this particular title itself, it indicates that they are representatives of the Supreme Lord. So since somebody is already in contact with the Supreme Lord and he always thinks of serving the Supreme Lord, isn't it far more easier for us to be associated or be connected with that personality? Because if we are in connection with that personality, automatically it so happens that we are always remembering the Lord, we are always glorifying the Lord, we are always serving the Lord. We may not be doing it directly, but because we are connected to the person who's doing it, we know that most of our engagements will also be connected to him, which means that most of our activities will be in relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is why we say that the association of devotees is very important. So just remove for a second, just think that all of us are discussing Srimad-Bhagavatam here. All of us are hearing the Srimad-Bhagavatam. What if there was no Srimad-Bhagavatam which was given by Srila Prabhupada? He has made it so easy for us. What if there was no ISKCON temple? What if there was no prasadam? So expect somebody to go back to Krishna in this age of Kali. Is it easily possible? That is what we have to think. So we have been given this facility to associate with devotees, to associate with people who are constantly remembering Krishna and who are constantly helping us remember Krishna. So coming back to this particular verse, where today's so I was talking right now about the first canto, first chapter, 15th verse, where the sages of Naimisharanya are glorifying Sutta Goswami, because Sutta Goswami is the one who's going to narrate the glories of the Lord to them. Okay. Now, if you see, actually, the entire Srimad-Bhagavatam is actually, it's a mix of so many devotees and so many conversations, and it's a complete example of association of devotees at multiple levels. The mercy is flowing all over. How Sutta Goswami is narrating it to the sages of Naimisharanya. Then in that conversation, they are remembering, Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadev Goswami's conversation. And in that conversation, there is Maitreya and Vidura's samvada. Vidura himself is a great devotee of the Lord. In fact, during the Mahabharata war, when Krishna tried to compromise, Krishna wanted to compromise and didn't want a war to happen. When he went to Duryodhana, and Duryodhana, he offered this proposal that let's not have a war. Instead, you give us 5 villages. So when that proposal was put forward, Duryodhana wanted to, didn't want to compromise, and Duryodhana wanted to get more into details, and he was not interested in taking, giving even an inch of land. Forget, the 5 villages. So in that discussion, Duryodhana wanted to make sure that, he wins that discussion. So he invites the Lord for a meal. He says that, why don't you have a good meal with us? So the Lord declines and he goes to Vidura and he says that I will prefer taking a meal from Vidura. So that itself shows that if a Lord is wants to have prasadam, or if he wants to have a meal from your house, that means that you are not an ordinary person. You are an extraordinary person. So Vidura is that kind of a personality. And if you see, the entire Hastinapur kingdom was strong in its principles, and the guide was Vidura. So this Vidura is showing us here in this Maitreya Vidura Samvad, or the discussion between Maitreya Rishi and Vidura. In this discussion, Vidura is showing us that how a devotee of the Lord should be. A devotee of the Lord may have extraordinary knowledge. He may be the most disciplined. He may be the topmost in character, but he should always understand that he should have a guru. And in front of his guru, he should always assume a position which is much lesser than him. Although he may be greater in knowledge, although he may be more glorious, although he may have direct association with the Lord, still, when he goes to his guru, he should actually fall down on the lotus feet of his guru, and only then you get the knowledge. So here again, Vidura and Maitreya. So this we can see at multiple levels that, even at, whether it is between Sutta Goswami and the sages of Naimisharanya, or even if it is between Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadev Goswami, the approach is not of order and reciprocate. I am not demanding that give me this information. Like, in the modern civilization, we see that those of you who go to offices, usually your manager comes and says that, I want this in the next 15 minutes. But if you see here, it is exactly the opposite. You have to go and beg, because you don't have what they have. And if you want that confidential information, if you want that confidential access to the information and the glories of the Lord, then you have to beg for it. And the process here is that it's not that, go with a begging bowl. It's that you should have a natural, humble, submissive attitude for receiving information from the most confidential devotees of the Lord. So again, the stress, why I'm stressing all these things is because at multiple levels, see, it is like MLM, multiple levels of mercy. It's not multiple level marketing, but it is multiple levels. Yes, in one way, it is also multiple level marketing of Krishna. But Krishna does not need your marketing. We should understand that, Krishna is beyond all this. He has given us the option whether we want to surrender to him, or he gave the option even to Arjuna, so forget us. So he has given us the option whether we want to surrender or we want to be free, do whatever we want. But here, the devotees of the Lord, they don't want to be free of the thoughts of Krishna. They always want to be engaged in busy. They want to be busy in the thoughts of Krishna. And the best way to do that is, if you want to be busy, then what do? You engage in a conversation. And the conversation should be related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here we are again saying that in multiple levels, this discussion is happening. Sutta Goswami, sages of Naimisharanya, then Sukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. Then we see that Vidura and Maitreya, Vidura although is very intelligent, very skillful, very knowledgeable, but he doesn't, he assumes in front of his guru, Maitreya Rishi, and he takes knowledge from Maitreya Rishi. And in that conversation, there is this discussion of the Prachetas, and in that, how the Prachetas meet Lord Shiva. Then Vidura is very curious to know how Prachetas got access to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is not visible to everyone, but the Prachetas, they are just, they are very young, and they had immediate access to Lord Shiva. So he's very curious. So in that conversation, then, the discussion happens, and then further, Lord Shiva, Maitreya Rishi is telling how Lord Shiva himself is glorifying Lord Krishna, and that is where we are now. So if you actually see, tell me one place that we discuss now where there is no association of devotees. So if you have to remember the Lord, you have to understand that whatever you learn or whatever you hear, it should be in the association of devotees. Without the association of devotees, it is not. It may be possible. Somebody, recently asked, is it possible to go to Krishna without the association of devotees? Very rare. It is again the mercy of the Lord. The will of the Lord can, prevail, and he can do whatever. But the point is, do you want to depend on that 0.01% chance of mercy, where you may be that qualified select personality of going back to Krishna without the association of devotees or without the knowledge of Shastras? We don't want to take a chance. So it is better that we fall in the bracket where 99.9% of the chances are that we go back to Krishna and don't come back to this material world again. So in that, if that is a goal, if you want to make sure that your seat is reserved in the holy abode of Lord Krishna, then the only way is catch hold of the lotus feet of the pure devotee of the Lord. So here again, we see that in this particular verse, the importance is about association of devotees. So I gave you multiple levels of the conversation and the discussions which are happening. And I also gave you the summary of how Ganga is the supreme and among the rivers. So in India, there are thousands of rivers. I mean, not thousands, I think about 300, 400 rivers. And in the world, there are thousands of rivers. And out of all these rivers, the most purifying is Ganga, because the Ganga is coming directly from the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Now, again, the appearance of Ganga, I think most of you know that when Vamanadev pierced the shell of this universe, that time, Ganga was about to flow, but Brahma held the Ganges or Ganga water in his kamandala or his the water pot, so that it doesn't flow into the universe, and the flow of Ganga would be so powerful that she could even go to Patala, and nobody wants to go to Patala. So Brahma holds the water of Ganga in his kamandala. But again, the story is there was a king Sagara, and Sagara wanted his children. Sagara, had thousands of children, and those thousands of children, they were actually part of a Ashwamedha Yagya, and the last King Sagara had completed 99 horse sacrifices, which means once you complete the 100th horse sacrifice, then you are eligible to take the position of Indra. This is the Ashwamedha Yagya. So Indra is a position which any of us can take. If we are all very dedicated, devoted, we can take the position of Indra. But is that our goal? No, that's not our goal. The point here is that earlier the kings, they were more of in the mode of passion, and they wanted to conquer more, or they wanted to get more, and they wanted to be more aggressive. So they wanted to be in a very powerful position. So they wanted to have more control. So at the same time, Indra is also not, relaxing, thinking that, okay, let's give away our position. Indra does, see, the devotees of the Lord, they feel that, okay, let me give away something to somebody else. We don't feel shy in, especially in terms of power or in terms of the riches or whatever. We tend to, give away. But the Devatas are not like that. They want to keep more control, or whatever position they have, they don't want to, they go to that position. Now, Indra sees that King Sagara is about to complete the 100th horse sacrifice, and then he steals the horse and he hides it. And it's actually this horse is somewhere hidden near the Kapila Muni's ashram. And when Sagara's sons go in search of this particular horse, because the sacrifice is not complete, so they are not able to gain complete control. They don't know who has captured the horse. So now they want to go, and they see this particular horse in Kapila Muni's ashram, and they disturb Kapila Muni, and they try to attack him, and Kapila Muni curses them and turns them into ashes. So that is the power of a Brahmana stage. Now, we don't have those kind of Brahmanas, but at that stage, in those situations, you would have seen that when people in Satya Yuga or in Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga, we would have seen that the sages were very powerful. And as the age started progressing, the power of the rishis and the power of Brahmanas started decreasing, because there were more sinful activities happening. Now, after the sons of Sagara were turned into ashes, then it's natural desire that every family member wants his ancestor to be liberated. That is why we do the Shraddha ceremony and other purifying processes after the person has left this world. So again, the lineage of King Sagara, they all attempt. And Bhagirath, one of the kings who comes in the lineage of Sagara, and he goes and he asks Kapila Muni that, please tell me that we have done this offense. How do we liberate, or how do we give freedom to all these ancestral, all our ancestors who had engaged in this ghastly affair with you? So Kapila says that you have to make sure that they take a dip in the Ganga, without which, or you have to go and take a dip in the Ganga. But at the same time, there was no Ganga in this world at that point of time. So then Bhagirath does a lot of tapasya, and he makes sure that the Mother Ganga is pleased. And Mother Ganga gives two conditions. Mother Ganga says that if I have to come to this world, first is my speed at which I would be flowing down from the Brahmalok. See, Brahmalok, I told you that Brahma is holding the water in his Kamandala, or in his water pot. So the moment he releases it, the water will flow from the heavenly planets to the earth. But the speed at which the water will travel will be so fierce that it will pierce through all the layers of this universe, and it will go directly into Patala. So nobody wants to go to Patala. So the point here is that again, Bhagirath prays to Lord Shiva and asks him, and Lord Shiva says that I will take Ganga on my forehead. And mercifully, Lord Shiva takes Ganga on his forehead, and then he controls the flow, and that's how Ganga enters into earth. Again, the second condition which Ganga says, one is the speed at which he would come down from the higher planetary systems to earth, and that is taken care, because Lord Shiva says that I will take Mother Ganga on my head, so that I stem the speed and I make sure that it will be in a regulated flow when it reaches the earth. Second question was, now when the Ganges flows or Ganga flows through the earth, there would be many sinful people who want to take the fast process of getting cleansed. So they would do all sinful activities and come and take a bath or take a dip in the river Ganga. So now, how to see? It's just a credit and debit. So somebody's loss is somebody else's gain. So here, what is happening? I do all the papa, and I go and take a dip in the Ganga. That means that I transfer all my sins to river Ganga or Mother Ganga. Now, Mother Ganga is burdened with so many sins, because people are committing sins, coming and taking bath. So then, what is the solution to that? That is the second question which Mother Ganga asks Bhagiratha, and he says that again, he gets the answer from Lord Shiva, and he says that it is not just the people who are sinful who will be taking bath. It will also be the pure devotees of the Lord who are going to take bath in Ganga. So when the pure devotees of the Lord, who are constantly remembering the Lord, when they go and take a dip in Ganga, then automatically Mother Ganga also gets relieved from her sins, because they are pure, they're always in constant connection with the Lord, and those who are in connection with the devotees of the Lord, they get purified. That is what today's verse is about. So even Mother Ganga, when she comes in contact with the pure devotees of the Lord, she gets purified. So we have to assume that this discussion is about pure devotee of the Lord. We are not talking about a regular devotee, who's committing offenses and things like that. Yes, We also, all of us want to aspire to become a pure devotee of the Lord, but we don't know at what stage each of us are. So many of them, many of us here who have gathered may be pure devotees of the Lord. We cannot judge with our senses. So the point is, I'm just talking from my perspective, that we should not assume that I am a pure devotee of the Lord because I'm chanting Hare Krishna, I'm associated with the ISKCON movement, following 4 regulative principles. I go and take a dip in Ganga and Ganga gets purified. No. Ganga gets purified by the association of pure devotees of the Lord. So the pure devotee is already described. Now, the point is, who is a pure devotee? Let's come to that. So I'll give you two, in this particular context, there is a song by Narottam Das Thakur, and it is, I'll just sing it. It is, Ebaro Karuna Karo. We'll just hear this very attentively. Ebaro Karuna Karo. Karuna Karo means, please be merciful. Okay, Ebaro, now, please be merciful. Vaishnava Goswami. So Vaishnava Goswami. Now please be merciful, Vaishnava Goswami. Patita Pavana Toma Bineke Honai. Patita Pavana Toma Bineke Honai. Which means that Patita Pavana, a person who can purify the fallen souls, that is Patita Pavana. And Toma Bina, except for you, Kehonai, there is no one. So please be merciful, O Vaishnava Goswami. Patita Pavana, Vaishnava Goswami, he is telling that, O pure devotee of the Lord. Who is telling this? Narottam Das Thakur, he himself is one of our Sampradaya Acharyas. So he is already the pure devotee of the Lord. But he is glorifying the devotee, pure devotee of the Lord, telling that, please be merciful. Just by your association, you can purify the fallen souls. And except for you, there is nobody else. He is not even making a reference of the Lord. He is telling that, except for the association of pure devotees of the Lord, there is nobody else who can give hope to the people in this material world. In the second verse, he says, Jahara nikate gale gele papa dure jai. Jahara nikate gele papa dure jai. Jahara nikate means by whose mere audience, or gele means approaching, by approaching whose audience, which means that by just approaching a pure devotee, Papa dure jai, Papa, the sins that you're committing go away. Just by approaching a pure devotee, the sins that you have done, the vision or the sight of a pure devotee of the Lord, that itself is enough for you to get washed away from many sins that you have done in the past. Okay? Emona dayala Prabhu Keba Kothapa. Emona dayala Prabhu, such a merciful personality. Who's that merciful personality? The pure devotee of the Lord. Such a merciful personality. Keba Kothapai. Where can anyone find such a merciful personality apart from a pure devotee of the Lord? So, by whose association, by coming in contact with him itself, all the sins that you have done in the past life or in the past gets washed away by just coming in contact with that pure devotee of the Lord. Here again, there is a reference. The reason why I chose this particular poetry is because there is a reference of Ganga here. Gangara parasha hoile paschate pavan. Gangara parasha hoile, touching the waters of the sacred Ganga. Paschate pavan, one becomes purified later. So again, this is all reference to the same shloka, today's shloka. Darshane pavitra karo e tomara gun. So darshane pavitra karo ye tomara guna. So here again it is said in the third stanza of this particular glorification by Narottam Das Thakur, is saying that Gangara parasha hoile, touching the waters of the sacred Ganges, one becomes purified later. Paschate pavan, one becomes purified later. Darshane pavitra karo. Darshana, just vision. Pavitra karo. Ye tumara guna. Guna means this is your quality. Beauty of the Lord, by touching the water of Ganges. For ordinary person, by touching the water of Ganges, he gets purified later. This is what Narottam Das Thakur is saying. Because, I already said that Ganga is coming from the lotus feet of the Lord. So once you touch it, you are also connected with the mercy of the Lord, and slowly you get transformed. It is a longer process. But darshane pavitra karo e tumhara gun. Just by the vision of a pure devotee of the Lord, you become immediately purified. That is the quality of the pure devotee of the Lord. This Narottam Das Thakur, who himself is a pure devotee of the Lord, he says in the fourth stanza, he says, Haristhane, Haris, this is very important. Haristhane aparadhe tare hari tarina tomasthana aparadhe nahi paritran. Haristhane aparadhe tare harinam. So Haristhane, to Lord Hari, aparadhe. If you commit any offense to the Lord, that offense can be washed away by Tare Harinam, by chanting the holy names of the Lord. That offense also can be washed away. Lord is very merciful. Okay, he'd say, okay, it's okay, no problem, I'll give you relief. But Thomas Thane Aparadhe, Thomas Thane Aparadhe Nahi Paritra. Thomas Thane Aparadhe, which means that, but if I commit offense to the pure devotee of the Lord, Thomas Thane, if I commit offense to you, if one commits offense to you, Thomas Thane, because the entire song is about pure devotee of the Lord. Thomas Thane Aparadhe Nahi Paritran. There is no means of deliverance. So if you commit offense to the Lord, you can chant Harinam and get rid of the offense. Somehow the Lord will be merciful and, okay, take mera bacha chodo. Let me take him back. My child, it's okay, I'll take you. But if you commit offense to the Vaishnava saint or the Vaishnava sadhu and the pure devotee of the Lord, so we cannot judge who is a pure devotee, first thing. We know that yes, there are exalted personalities, there are already our Sampradaya Acharyas, there are all our Vaishnava Acharyas, there are initiating Diksha Gurus, they are all pure devotees of the Lord. But other than that, we should not assume that nobody in our movement is nobody, there are no other pure devotees of the Lord. It is wrong. Many people around us may be pure devotees of the Lord. We really don't know. So we should not make an assumption that this person is pure, this person is impure. That is not our job. We should make sure that everybody apart from me, I mean, I'm talking about myself, everybody apart from me is a pure devotee. Let's not try to find faults that this person is, Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, Uttam Adhikari. For us, let's think everybody is the same. The quality of Uttam Adhikari is he thinks that everybody is same. He doesn't see any, he does not discriminate. So he sees that everybody is a jiva and jiva is part and parcel of Krishna, so it doesn't discriminate. Okay. So here Narottam Das Thakur is saying, Haristane aparade tare harinam. So if you do any offense to the Lord, it can be relieved by chanting his name and surrendering to him. But Tomastane aparade nahi paritran. But if I do any offense to the devotee of the Lord, there is no means of deliverance. So we should not take that risk. In the fifth stanza, he says, Tomara hridaya sada. So I was telling, how do you identify pure devotee of the Lord? It's not possible to identify. Then what devotee of the Lord? That Narottam Das Thakur says that Tomara hridaya sada. Govinda Vishram. Tomara hridaya sada. Govinda Vishram. Tomara hridaya, which means that your heart, sada, always. Govinda Vishram, which means that your heart is the resting place for Govinda. So Govinda is taking rest on your heart. Whose heart? My heart? No. The pure devotee of the Lord. Govinda is resting on the pure devotee of the Lord because he feels very nice, very pleasurable to rest on the heart of the pure devotee of the Lord. Govinda ka hena mora Vaishnava paran. Further, Narottam Das Thakur is saying, Lord Govinda says that the Vaishnavas are my heart. So Govinda himself is telling Vaishnava is my heart, and the Vaishnava, pure devotee of the Lord, he makes the Lord so comfortable that the Lord takes rest in the heart of the pure devotees. Okay, that's what is the fifth verse. Sixth one, it says, Prati Janme, this is the last stanza. Here Narottam Das Thakur is saying, Prati Janme Kori Asha, Prati Janme, every birth I desire. So we should understand, Narottam Das Thakur is not telling, oh my Lord, this is my last birth. I'm not going to take any more birth. He's telling Prati Janme, I'm ready to take millions of births. And every life, Prati Janme, Kori Asha, I desire. Prati Janme Kori Asha, Charanera Dhuli. dhuli, charanera dhuli, the dust of your holy feet. Whose holy feet? The devotee, the pure devotee of the Lord. Narotame korodaya apanara boli. So Narottam Das Thakur is summarizing, telling Narottame, that is I, myself, Karodaya, please be kind, Apanara Boli, and consider me to be your own property. So we should not read this telling that Narottam Das Thakur is telling that, please consider myself to be your property and consider me to give mercy. Narottam Das Thakur already has the mercy. Narottam Das Thakur wants us to read and put ourselves in that position where we are begging to the Supreme Lord, telling that Narottama, instead of Narottama, we should understand that it's me. Karodaya, please, please. So we are also begging to Narottam Das Thakur in this verse by saying that, please, O Narottam Das Thakur, please be merciful and consider me to be your property. Because if I become the property of Narottam Das Thakur, then automatically I'm property of Lord Krishna. Okay. Next, we all say before so why am I saying all these things? The importance of the devotee of the Lord, the importance of association, the importance of not underestimating any devotee of the Lord. And also, before we start chanting every day, we read out the 10 offenses to the holy name of the Lord. The first offense, which is Satam Ninda Namna. So this is in the Padma Purana. So the 10 offenses are not something which Srila Prabhupada invented. He gave it from the Padma Purana. It's a Shastric reference. So we cannot say that, it's just to, make sure that we are all chanting attentively. No. Can we chant inattentively? No, because it's said in Padma Purana. But occasionally, if you do commit mistakes, then Narottam Das Thakur is already saying that it's okay. Because, if you commit any offense, like inattentively chanting, if you're committing that offense, don't commit it. I'm not encouraging inattentive chanting here. I'm saying that even by mistake, if your mind is wandering at the time of chanting, still the Harinam itself is pure and the Harinam itself will rectify that. That is okay. Over a period of time, that can be rectified. But don't commit offense to Vaishnava. And the first offense in our 10 offenses is Satam Ninda Namna Paramam Aparadham Vitanute Yatakyatim Yatam Tatamusahate Tad Vigarham. So it means that to blaspheme devotees who have dedicated their lives for chanting the holy name of the Lord. So we should never, anybody who's chanting the holy name of the Lord, he has undergone all the purificatory processes before he even gets the opportunity to utter the Lord's holy name. So a person with that kind of quality is the one who utters the Lord's holy name. And if we make an offense to that person, then the Lord will not tolerate. The Lord will tolerate offense to him. And he will help you with some purificatory process. And he can give you, by just chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, you can be relieved. But if you commit offense to a devotee of the Lord who is chanting, that there is no relief. That is what the first offense is also saying. So basically, we should understand that in this age of Kali, we have no other hope but chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. We have all and at the same time, how can we chant the Hare Krishna mantra? We can chant only if we are in a state where we are not committing offenses. And committing offenses means the topmost offense that you can commit is the offense to a devotee of the Lord. So we are fortunate to have association of the Lord and association of devotees of the Lord, but we should not misuse it. So we should not commit offense. And ultimately, we see that we are out of the ISKCON movement. We came, we practiced, and after a few years, we are out of the ISKCON movement. The reason is when we come, there is a lot of attraction. There is a tendency to surrender. There is a tendency to hear. But as time passes by, the same person whom you got attracted to, the same person you heard from, after 5-6 years, you become familiar to that person, and then you start feeling this is just an ordinary person. You don't see anything extraordinary in him because you have also started learning, but you also forgot in the process that you started learning because of that same person. And as time passed by, Maya is so powerful that she can give you, the real Krishna consciousness comes out when you are in the association of devotees for a very long period of time, and you are able to serve the movement for a very long period of time. Coming for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years is nothing, because initially there are many things for a person to get attracted to ISKCON, many freebies to attract somebody to ISKCON. But the real essence is why Srila Prabhupada set up this movement is not just for attraction. Why Prabhupada built temples is not just for attraction. Prabhupada said, why such huge structures? People were asking, why such huge temples? It's to attract people. Yes. Attraction for what? What does Srila Prabhupada get? Is he getting some royalty fees for attracting people? No. The royalty that you get is you get the mercy of the Lord, and the Lord will always protect you if you preach, if you bring more devotees to the movement, and if you protect them. You should understand that anybody standing is not ordinary, and anybody who's standing, we cannot consider him. We should not designate that this person is only 10 years old, so he is a Kanishta Adhikari, or this person is just joined the movement, he's 60 years old. He has not, 60 years he was roaming outside and doing something. He has now come to the movement. I have been in ISKCON movement for 25 years, so I'm much better than him. So your number of years does not matter. Your consciousness matters. Is Krishna going to make an assumption that, okay, you spent 25 years in ISKCON, so you're eligible for liberation? No, it's not a government exam. You're not writing a test for a position in the government job. No. The point is, the consciousness is all that matters. And for that, you need to have the association of the pure devotees of the Lord to improve your consciousness. When great acharyas like Narottam Das Thakur are saying that I want to get the dust of your lotus feet, and he's requesting the devotees to give me the dust. Narottam Das Thakur is telling that. So what is our position? So we should understand that I'm talking about myself. I should understand that, I am nothing in compared to them. So I have to always beg for the mercy of the Lord, and I should make sure that I always remain Krishna conscious, whether in this life or in next life. So I'd like to conclude here. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much for the wonderful class on the importance of association of devotees. You have very well explained how the mercy of pure devotee of the Lord is very important for a sadhaka to get pure love of Godhead. And also thanks for the wonderful explanation on the history of Mother Ganga and how even Ganga is relieved of the sins where other people who dump their sins into her, how she is relieved of those sins by just when she gets in touch with a pure devotee who takes a bath in her waters. Thank you very much. Devotees can unmute themselves to share any reflections, or if they have any questions, please ask Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Ram Govinda Prabhu. Wonderful. Last 15 minutes was really nectar, Prabhu. Wonderful. So nice. Nicely covered.
That I was just repeating. So all the nectar is flowing from our acharyas. Actually, I am just thinking that, if I wouldn't have been in ISKCON, I would have been talking some rubbish now between 8 to 9. Whatever. This time, what would have I been doing? It's just the mercy of the devotees and all devotees like you. So thank you, Prabhu.
Can I ask one question, Prabhu?
Yes, please.
What is the meaning of taking associating devotees? How do we understand that?
It's very simple, Prabhu. See, sometimes we feel that association means, if you take the pure English word, it is just a gathering. Okay, but associating means sometimes we underestimate that. In our house also people are chanting, like wife chants, children are chanting, parents are chanting. But when we come to the temple, we our bhava and our rupa and our the way we behave is completely different. But when we come at home, a real identity is revealed. But the Lord is seated in the heart. So when we hear all this glorification by Narottam Das Thakur, he is not separating one section of people and telling that I will not associate with you, I will not associate with you, or you are my family, so let me take you for granted. No, the point is, what is association of devotees? It is just anybody who's chanting or anybody who's able to glorify the Lord. If you are able to come in contact with him, then that itself is association. So association is anything more than one person who is a devotee of the Lord. So if you have association, can also be Srimad-Bhagavatam, because you have also association with the devotees of the Lord in Srimad-Bhagavatam. So that is also association. So basically, it's just the upliftment of your entire consciousness. The ingredients required for uplifting your consciousness, anything that can be, is association. So for example, prasadam also comes through association. We cannot say that, I'll sit at home, cook my own prasadam and take care. If you want an elaborate meal, you have to come to the temple. So again, you have to be in the association. So basically, it's just a group of like-minded devotees who have a common goal, and the goal is to please Krishna. So that is association, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. So nice.
Okay. Any other questions, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful class and focusing so much on, in fact, you just brought a wonderful point over here of everything with this, which is the best in terms of, amongst the sacred rivers, amongst various things. So it's very important to say that what we have got is really priceless. And we need to make sure that we should really, make best use of it. And, as you said, association of devotees is so very important. And that cannot be undermined at any cost. Thank you so much. It was really nectar. Thank you, Prabhu.
So, I should say, all this has happened only because of Srila Prabhupada. Without Srila Prabhupada, I think 50 years back, before this 50 or 60 years back, when ISKCON movement was not there, there was Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, but the access to Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara was very less, it was very minimum. But now, because Srila Prabhupada was so merciful, this shows the mercy of the pure devotee of the Lord. He was able to transform so many people. So according to today's verse, Ganga will take prolonged use, but association is instant. And we see that in the last 50 years, so much of transformation has happened. Thank you, Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, any other questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, no question, just appreciation. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. On the eve of Akshay Tritiya, where Ganga was born.
I say that tomorrow is the appearance day of Mother Ganga. So yes. Ganga came to this earth on Akshay Tritiya.
Yes, Prabhu.
Decided to choose. That's a choice. We don't make a choice. We have no choice to take birth. I can't say that I'll take birth on Akshay Tritiya. But yes, Mother Ganga has a choice. So we don't have. The great devotees of the Lord, they always have a choice.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions, Prabhu? Or Mataji's? Any other questions? Okay, so I think we have no questions, Prabhu.
Okay, we'll conclude the class with Vaishnava Pranams, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu, you can.
Vancha kalpatarbhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Govinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Prabhu, Bhagavat Prabhu, is there any service in the temple for tomorrow, Akshay Tritiya?
Not sure, Mataji. If there was any, there'll be a communication.
Yes.
But as such, there is no communication. So we'll have to wait.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay, Prabhu. We'll conclude for today and we'll meet again tomorrow. Hare Krishna.